Kaiju Files 6, King Kong. In 1955, the radioactive beast Godzilla completed another terrorizing trek through Japan. His journey ended on a small icy island where fighter pilots were able to trigger an avalanche that buried the monster. At the time, it was believed that Godzilla had been killed from the avalanche. However, nearly a decade later, the Earth would learn that Godzilla was still very much alive. An American submarine called the Seahawk was traveling through an area of ocean littered with large deposits of ice. While doing this, the sub became lodged in an iceberg. While attempting to escape, the sub inadvertently released Godzilla from the iceberg that he had been trapped in since 1955. Meanwhile, a pair of representatives from a company called TTV, Osamu Sakurai and Kinzaburo Furue, were sent to the remote island of Faro. There they searched for a giant monster that was rumored to be on the island. The company was responsible for discovering a native berry called soma that produced a narcotic-like effect. And with that, they longed for more publicity. And what better way to gain it than being the first to discover the giant ape, King Kong? With the recent reemergence of Godzilla, the team was even more desperate to find King Kong. The two journeyed to the island and stayed in a small village. Once the team had turned in for the night, the village was attacked by a giant octopus. It was there that the team first caught sight of the primal kaiju, King Kong. As the giant octopus ransacked the village, King Kong came to the rescue, emerging from the hills nearby. King Kong was able to scare off the sea creature, saving the villagers. After the octopus crawled back into the ocean, King Kong noticed a large stockpile of the drug-like berry soma. The berries were crushed into a juice and stored in large pots. King Kong proceeded to drink from the pots and eventually fell asleep near the village. In Kong's comatose state, it was easy for TTV to restrain him and ship him back to Japan on a giant raft. Godzilla journeyed from the sea towards Hokkaido, Japan. When he reached the mainland, chaos ensued as he first attacked a passenger train. It wasn't long after that King Kong awoke from his soma-induced slumber. He struggled to break free from his shackles on the transport raft. It was up to the ship's crew along with the JSDF and the TTV reps to detonate dynamite around Kong's raft to free him. Once freed, Kong made his way to Japan to intercept Godzilla. When the two titans met on dry land, Godzilla's atomic ray got the better of Kong. After having his stomach lightly singed, the massive ape retreated. Eventually, the ape resurfaced in Tokyo, where it interrupted a high-tension wire trap that was set for Godzilla. The electrical barricade was no match for the hideous creature, though, for it merely amplified its strength as he absorbed the surging electrical currents. The brute began to wreak havoc in Tokyo, tearing apart everything in his path. Grasping a train, he became enchanted by the beauty of Fumiko Sakurai, the sister of one of the men responsible for his capture earlier. Kong brought his living trophy atop the Dia building, preparing to defend his honor. The JSDF was desperate, but a plan was hatched. By inserting the soma into rockets, they were able to launch the drug into the sky. Coupled with the reproduction of the percussion endemic to the natives of Faro, Kong was lulled into a deep slumber, and his hostage was rescued. Godzilla, meanwhile, was still quite unstoppable. The military was hopeless against the nuclear Leviathan, and it became clear that Kong was the only solution. Using special wires, balloons, and helicopters, Kong was airlifted to Mount Fuji. By morning, he arrived and came face to face with his reptilian adversary once more. After the two terrors collided and toppled down a mountainside, the huge ape lured Godzilla to the other side as he prepared to attack from behind a rock. Though the atomic ray was an insurmountable obstacle for Kong, he continued to chuck boulders at his foe. When he tried to roll towards Godzilla, the scaly menace dodged, and Kong's head collided with a stone. Momentarily out, Kong arose to strike back, only for Godzilla to kick the giant ape down the hill. This led to the monster once again colliding into a series of rocks. With his foe incapacitated, Godzilla quickly gained the upper hand. That is, until the arrival of a freak lightning storm. Rejuvenated by the static discharges, Kong attacked Godzilla with an even greater ferocity than before. They laid ruin to civilization before they made their final plummet from a cliff into the ocean. Their savage brawl generated a terrible earthquake, but the chaos soon subsided. Bobbing his head out of the water, Kong signaled a silent success, as it became all too clear that Godzilla's fate was virtually uncertain. Exhausted, yet victorious, King Kong returned to his island home in peace.